Our next topic is under infrastructure is hybrid annuity model. Now, I can assure you, you will get surely a question either from Bharatmala Pariyojana or Sedu Bharatam program or hybrid annuity model. From the first these three topic 1, 2 or 3, surely you will get a prelims question for this year. So already in the economic survey have covered in detail about hybrid annuity model, but in the video also I have discussed about hybrid annuity model, but here I'll make it very easy for you to know further about hybrid annuity model. Okay, so even though you know something about hybrid annuity model, after this video you will be very thorough with this concept, because more detailed and more simplified, in a more simplified manner we will discuss about this model, what is called as hybrid annuity model or HAM, H-A-M. In short, hybrid annuity model is called as HAM. Now, why the government have introduced this model? Okay, try to understand that. HAM model, presently, it's a type of investment model. Now, try to understand that in your main syllabus there is a topic called investment model. There also we will discuss about hybrid annuity model. So this presently in India, this HAM model is implemented only in road sector, in the construction of roads. Even though this model can be implemented in any other infrastructure sectors like ports or any other thing, but presently it is implemented only in the road sector, in constructing highways. Now, the government have introduced this HAM model in January 2016 mainly to revive PPP projects in highway construction. Okay, so what happened before 2016? There have been like the government have given highway construction under PPP projects through government as well as means PPP means public private participation, or government along with the private sector participating together. But many highway projects, construction projects have delayed, or the private player lost lot of money in relation to constructing the highways, mainly because of the traffic risk. They were not getting the proper return. The expected traffic was not there in the highways, and many of the private infrastructure players lost lot of money, and that have resulted in not only these infrastructure companies mainly constructing roads going for debt ridden, at the same time it have resulted in high non-performing assets for the banks, mainly public sector banks. So in order to revive the PPP projects, the government have introduced a new model for constructing highways, that is what is called as hybrid annuity model. So before this introduction of this hybrid annuity model, 3 different models were used for constructing highways. They are PPP annuity model. PPP means public-private partnership annuity model. We'll discuss PPP toll model. Basically, both are build, operate, transfer model. And third one is EPC model, that is engineering, procurement, and construction model. So these were the 3 models used by the government when it adopted private sector participation. So government, in order to bring private sector participation in constructing highways, these 3 models were primarily used in India before HAM. That is PPP annuity model, toll model as well as EPC model. Now the HAM, see, try to understand what is HAM. HAM means hybrid annuity model. It means that this is a hybrid investment model. So hybrid means it has the features of more than one or at least 2 models, investment models. So hybrid is a mix of 2 models, that is BOT annuity model. See here PPP annuity model is the same. BOT annuity model and EPC model. So HAM is a mix of this BOT or PPP annuity model as well as EPC model. So first and the most important point you need to note down is that HAM is a hybrid model of annuity model of BOT annuity model and EPC model. So since it is a mix of this annuity model, BOP annuity model and EPC model, we need to understand in detail the features of these models. So we'll know the three features, the three different models features. First is the BOT annuity model or the PPP annuity model. Both are same because all are private sector participation, PPP projects. So from the term itself, it becomes very easy for you that BOT annuity model means it's a BOT model. BOT means build, operate and transfer. The private sector will build the road, operate the road and then transfer it to the government. So in the BOT, and see here the keyword is annuity model. So we will see that what is this annuity is all about. So here under the BOT annuity model, a private developer builds the highway, so that we know B, operates it for a specified duration. So it will operate it for a specified duration and transfer it back to the government. That is what is called as BOT model. Now the government will make payment to the developer after the launch of commercial operation of the project. So once this project starts commercial operation, the commercial operation, the government will pay annuity, means annually they will make payment. So normally this payment will be made on a 6-month basis. So in the BOT annuity model, what the private sector will build it, operate it for some time and transfer it to the government. So here, once the commercial operation is started, what the government will do? Government will pay regular annual pay, means government will pay an annuity. This annuity is paid on a 6-month basis. The government will pay to the developer every 6 months. So this is these are the features of annuity model. Now we'll just make a comparison between BOT annuity model and toll model. Now try to understand that in BOT toll model there is no annuity payment by the government to the developer. The revenue the developer will be getting only through toll. From the term itself you can understand. So in BOT toll model, the developer will construct, that is it will build the road and he will operate it, and what he will do, he will operate it for a long tenure, that is he will operate for 30 years and the government will not make any payment. He have to get his revenue through toll collection. So he is able to means he can recover under the toll model. The developer have to recover his investment from toll collection. So here the traffic risk is there. The toll revenue is depending upon the traffic. So if the expected traffic is not there through these roads or highways, there is a probability of these developer having loss. So the toll collection normally under the toll model is for nearly 30 years. In most cases, the toll collection is for 30 years. And here the important point to note down is that the government will not make any payment to the developer because he is earning his money invested from, means mainly through tolls. So that in toll model and annuity model, here the interesting point is that here the risk is lesser for the builder. Why? Traffic risk in the annuity model, traffic risk is with the government. Here in the toll model, traffic risk is with the developer. So because most of the PPP model for road construction or highway construction was following toll model, many private developers didn't get expected traffic return, and that's the reason why many road projects have been stalled, and that's the reason why many many road construction programs have been delayed. So here this feature of annuity model will be taken in the hybrid annuity model. So in the hybrid annuity model, so I told you hybrid annuity model will have the features of not toll model, it will have the features of annuity model. It means that in the HAM model, the government will make annuity payment to the developer and the traffic risk will be with the government. So just have an idea these two features of annuity model and toll model. Next model is EPC. What is this feature of EPC? See, under EPC, the complete project cost is borne by the government. Okay, so here the private player, the government invite bids for engineering knowledge from the private player. So basically the bid is done by the government to get the best private player for engineering knowledge. as the term suggests, engineering, procurement and construction model. So the procurement of raw material and construction costs are met by even the procurement of raw material, the procurement and the construction cost is also met by the government. So the private sector role here in this model is engineering knowledge. So the private sector participation is minimum here in the EPC model and is limited to the provision of engineering expertise. Now the biggest problem with this model is that the entire financial burden is on the government. So it has taken some features of EPC model in the sense that the government will not take the entire financial model on the hybrid one. The government will take only a certain percentage of the project cost. Remaining have to be taken by the private sector in the hybrid annuity model. Now we will see that what all features have been taken from this BOT annuity model and the EPC model. So hybrid annuity model in India is a mix of BOT annuity and EPC model. Now most important point is that under the HAM model, the government will contribute only 40% of the project cost. So this is the most important thing. So the government will contribute only 40% of the project cost, and the remaining 60% of the project cost have to be beared by the private developer. And this 40% of the project cost will be paid in tranches, that is in the first 5 years. First 5 years, through annual payment, the government will make payment through the private developer. So the remaining payment of since the 60% of the project cost is beared by the private developer, this 60% will be paid by the government through annuity. So in the sense that the remaining payment will be made on the basis of the assets created by the developer and the performance of the developer. Based on the performance and based on the assets created, the remaining 60% of the project cost will be paid to the developer in the form of annuity. So hybrid annuity means the first 40% payment is made as fixed amount in 5 equal installment, whereas the remaining 60% is paid through variable annuity amount after the completion of the project, depending upon the value of assets created. Okay, so in HAM model, the developer will get. So see, the good thing about the private developer is that in the earlier case, in the BOT, in both the BOT cases, whether it is annuity or in the case of toll model, the entire project cost have to be beared by the developer. But in HAM model, that is not a case. Means 40% of the project cost is beared by the government, is given by the government to the private player. So the financial burden for the private player is less. He need to arrange only 60% of the project cost. Plus traffic risk is with the government. The government will take up the traffic risk, and the remaining 60% of the project cost will be paid, and the profit will be paid through annuity, that too depending upon the performance of the asset created. Okay, so the advantage is that since the government pays only 40% during the construction stage, the developer have to arrange the remaining amount, we know that, and the remaining amount he can arrange in the form of equity or through loan. Important point is that in the HAM model, there is no toll right to the developer. We can easily note down because it's an annuity model. In the annuity model, the toll will be collected by the government or the government representative, and instead of that, there will be an annuity payment for the developer. Now under HAM, revenue collection is the responsibility of National Highway Authority of India. So National Highway Authority of India will collect the revenue or toll. So advantage of HAM is that it gives enough liquidity to the developer because 40% of the project cost is beared by the government, it's been given, and also the financial risk is shared by the government because mainly the traffic risk. So for the private developer, even though continue to bear the construction and maintenance risk is vested with the construction risk, and maintenance risk is with the private developer, but he is required only to partly bear the financing risk. Financing risk, only he have to arrange 60% financing risk. So what is the significance of this HAM model? After introducing the HAM model, many highway projects have been completed on time, and now the road transport ministry of road transport and highways is now giving all the construction of highways under the hybrid annuity model, and it have been a successful model. So that's the reason why this model is very important for your prelims. So significance is that it's a good trade-off, because the risk is spread between the developer and the government, and since the government is financing 40% of the project cost, it is sort of a viability gap funding for the private developer, because it will help the developer to cut his overall debt, as well as it can improve the project return for the developer. And since the annuity payment structure means that developer are not taking any traffic risks, that is another significance. Now from the government perspective, it gets an opportunity to flag off road projects by investing a portion of the project cost, even though the traffic risk is with the government, but it on the terms of the better social return, not economic return. Since the government have a very important welfare function, the social return by way of access and convenience to daily commuters as well as the free movement make this model a better model, PPP model for the government than the earlier model. So it's a win-win situation both for the private developer as well as for the government. Very important for you. If you know these features, you can easily answer any question in relation to HAM model. Thank you.